Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I took a lot longer on my last one for my business group than I thought it would take. So I apologize to you guys for being an hour late. It's going to be a great day. I'm trying to get logged in so I can see if people, because I missed some comments, and I want to make sure that I'm, there we go, not missing things, because that'd be horrible. Awesome. Now I think we're set up. I can't set it up until we're live, so it's one of those things, just deal with it. Or I've got to just deal with it. 7 philosophies to a kick-ass life. Don't hang out around negative people. Invest in assets and let your assets pay for your luxuries. That's something I want to learn how to do. I want to know what they're talking about. I've got some ideas, but how they pay for your luxuries, that's what we got to do. And mostly, I believe, is real estate. Number 3, read and learn every day. Number 4, do something that scares you every week. Your comfort zone is your income zone. And if you do something that scares you every week, you're going to start to be, I wouldn't say immune, but your tolerance for being scared is going to start to grow, which is going to make your comfort zone start to grow, which is going to make your income zone start to grow. Let go of the past, learn from your mistakes, move on. Your actions decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Go after what you truly want, not what everyone else wants you to go after. That's from Dan Locke. He's a motivational speaker, entrepreneur guy. Really has some pretty cool. I did his classes for a little bit. It wasn't for me, but it was all in the sales, and I needed more marketing and than the sales side, because Amazon is more marketing based. Sales, they've got the people there. I just got to get them to click on my posting. So if you need a rug, let me know. 5 ways to change your thinking according to the Entrepreneur's Editor-in-Chief. Let's go through these together. This is from 2018 in January. So it's a little dated, but it all comes straight together. It makes a lot of sense. I've read through this once, so I'm going to try to keep my reactions similar, because I think this is a good article. There's a lot of nuggets in here that we all can use. It's still early in the year, and to me that means it's still time to think outrageously big, to redefine, to blow it all up. Here are 5 things that got me thinking differently this month, and I hope they get you thinking differently too. This is from Jason Pfeiffer, Entrepreneur's Editor-in-Chief from Entrepreneur.com. January 25, 2018. According to this should take me 6 minutes to read, but we'll see. Here's why I love Barbara Corcoran. Ignore the specifics, go for the essence. She doesn't care if people take her advice. She says, go ahead, ignore it, discard it. It may be terrible advice, but do at least take inspiration from the spirit of her advice. In the story, for example, in the issue of the January issue of Entrepreneur Magazine, Barbara gives 2 entrepreneurs some colorful ideas for promoting their product. But what she really wants them to do more than anything else is think creatively about promotion. Does it have to be her specific ideas? No, not as long as what they do is also colorful. She says, I believe this is the key to learning. Whether you're reading Entrepreneur, speaking to peers, or attending conferences, the point will never be to take in advice exactly as it's offered. It's overwhelming and impractical. Instead, think of it this way. Calibrate your mind to start smart thinking. Consider the spirit behind great ideas, the essence of those ideas. Consider spirit, or I just said that. When you surround yourself with great ideas, you start to become a great idea generator yourself. And that's where the real success lies. So it's not just surrounding yourself by smarter people, like-minded people that are going to toss around ideas, bounce ideas off of, but you have to start teaching your mind to think in a different way, to think more colorfully, and then you're going to turn yourself into idea generator yourself, and more people are going to start to come to you for ideas and you for your inspirations. Number 2, empathy matters more than tactics. It's not enough to have something valuable. You need to first connect with the people who need it. The Washington Post story captures that well. Profiling an urban entrepreneur who came to West Virginia, tried to help local businesses, but first had to navigate a lot of cultural distance. I had to take some time to muck around in chicken shit, he says. I learned humility, and if we can drop our sense of we know best, then that animus that I have been the target of doesn't need to be there. Now, I'm just thinking of, like I tell my daughter, she sang for a group around Christmas, and I made her carry her amp in. And I told her, as I told her she was going to carry her amp in, I carried her guitar. I said, this is heavier than the guitar, and I'm not telling you need to do this because I'm being a prick to you. But if you look at all the music greats, they remember setting themselves up. They remember doing the hard work. And I'm not going to come in and set this up for you every single time. You're going to start gigging on your own. And you've got to remember trudging, because there's 3 inches of snow on the ground, trudging this amplifier through the doors with 3 inches of snow. You're going to remember that, but you're also going to remember tonight when you signed your first autograph. And it's really important. It's true. You got to, you're not, there's businesses out there for $25,000, we'll give you an Amazon business that's already running. But how much will that business mean to you if everything's done for you and you didn't have to trek through the muck? If you're not having to deal with all the chicken shit and the bullshit that comes with life, with building a business, you have to go through all these different things as part of your journey so that you can appreciate it more. Embrace your setbacks. As we enter into a new year, again, they're talking about 2017 because this is a few years old, but they're talking about a guest on the Never Settle show, a live streaming talk show, and this lady sat in the front row of the audience and stood to speak. She's experienced a lot of setbacks, she said, a lot of obstacles. Her life feels stagnant. How, she wondered, can she move forward? So he said, I told you this, nobody sees your past except for you. And then he expanded on that note in an editor's note in a different issue of Entrepreneur Magazine. That would be January 11, 2018. Which would be the episode just before this one. He said that he never had more thank yous from responses from readers. He truly wrote this not necessarily to get that reaction from people, but he didn't realize how that column would take it to heart. So many times we care about, people, what they think about us and the end result, but they don't really even know or understand the path in which you got there, and they're never going to know. Your spouse isn't even going to know the full context of, she knows I come to the office every day. She knows I'm working on our business every day. She knows that checks are coming in. She knows when they're big. She knows when they're small. She knows when I got something big enough for me to vent about, but she doesn't know every struggle, every hiccup that comes throughout the day. And nobody knows that journey but you. And that doesn't mean you need to share that journey, but just keep in mind that this is your path. This is something that you're taking on. And sometimes you feel all alone, and sometimes you feel full of warmth and love, and that's okay. But just like I said, realize that it's okay to have shit days. It's okay to give yourself permission to have shit days. But it's not okay to stop moving forward, and that's what's key, is you're always taking that next step forward. Number 4, be the fresh eyes that open everyone else's. Now, this is a cool story. I wish it goes on to tell more about the story, and maybe I'll see if I can research it and share that with you on another day. But this is from 2017. This happened. A 19-year-old college student cracked a code that professional scholars were trying to solve and had been dumbstruck for decades. The Incas, who inhabited the west coast of South America from 1400 to 1532, did not have a written language that they could document. So what they did is they devised a way to record information of nodding strings, and many of these strings survive, but anthropologists could not decipher them. Then this Manny Medrano college kid comes along. He spends spring break studying the strings, compares them to census of Spaniards living in the area, and boom, he solved it. It doesn't tell us exactly what he found or anything because they want you to read this Boston Globe article. But we'll have to go back and look at that in 2017. But the reminder it is fresh eyes are better than the wizened eyes. I could be doing listing optimization for my Amazon listing and just think everything is perfect, and someone comes along who is just looking at it and is like, well, what about this? Why don't you change this? What about that word? What about this word? How come that picture's right there? Well, maybe if you just put this picture here and this picture there, you'd sell more. You get used to looking at the same thing over and over, your eyes glaze over, or that you got so much emotionally involved in something that your emotions blind you from what's glaringly obvious to someone who's not emotionally attached or hasn't been looking at it that long. So use fresh eyes. Let someone look at something before you post it. Let someone look at your ad and make sure that it's appeasing to them or they wouldn't change anything. And if they would, listen to them. Don't just throw up a wall because you've got so much emotionally attached that you don't want to actually listen to them. But what's the point of the exercise if you're not actually going to listen to somebody? So listen to them. Now, this last one, this is going to hit you if you're an entrepreneur or want to be. And this is from Gary Vaynerchuk. This is from January of 2018. He's talking about entrepreneurs and how to consider your product's value, your business's value. And he's going to hit in. He says, he's going to let the hammer down. The real hammer comes down here at the end, these last three paragraphs. Gary says that bubble will burst, and then we'll get to see who's still around. Then we'll get to see who else who says they're an entrepreneur on their Instagram profile right now when they're at work at Bank of America in 24 months. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm excited for. I'm waiting for and hoping for complete global economic carnage so that we can weed out the B, C, and D players and only have the A players left. And this Jason guy says, well, Jesus, if we had only stopped talking a minute ago, we could have ended on a high note. But instead, we ended on that. And Gary says immediately, that's what I think this is so fun. This is a high note. It's the same way I'm looking about what's happening. Truth should win. If you're a piece of shit, you should lose. If you're not a good entrepreneur, you should not have a job, or you should go get a job. Merit and truth are always the winners in the macro, but when we're only living in the micro, people are confused. Now you can listen to that and you can say, I'm an entrepreneur. Am I in the A, B, C, or D? Or you can look at that and say, if I'm not in the A bracket, am I a piece of shit or am I going to fail? Be working at Bank of America soon. And I think that honestly, we're not all A's. We're not all B's. We're not all C's. We're not all D's. We are somewhere on that spectrum. And not giving up is what's going to push you into that A category. But part of not giving up is recognizing where your deficiencies are and working on them daily. That's why we do this. We're working on ourselves, working on our mindset, we're working on our business. We're getting ourselves focused so that we can work on our business. But in doing that, realize what you need work on. Read a book every day. If you need help with advertising, work on marketing words. I've got a book right here that I'm in the middle of reading. The Price of Tomorrow. I can give a book review once I'm done with it, I guess, but there's another book that's on the desk over there that's just words for marketing. What words spark people's interest? If you know you're not good at something, work on making yourself better at something, or get to the point where you can hire someone else. There's a reason that Henry Ford was not the smartest man in the room. He surrounded himself by smart people, recognized where he was deficient. He knew he was a genius as far as, the assembly line and making things work, but he wasn't the smartest in every topic. So if you surround yourself by smart people and make yourself aware that you need to listen to their advice, which is sometimes really hard for most of us, is just listening and implementing what their suggestions are. But then you can be more well-rounded and have a better business and have a lot better chance to survive as a business owner. So God loves you, so do I. This one turned into a kind of a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.